Hello viewers and welcome back to my channel. We're going to bring this thing back to life, and I think the first thing I'll be doing when I come back is this, a Dark Souls run. Now, unlike many of my Let's Plays, this one is not going to be live commentary, and the main reason for that is I haven't configured my laptop to record the Audacity concurrently with the screen capture. And unfortunately, most capture cards do not automatically record audio. I would have to set that up through my computer, but I haven't done that yet, and so we are going to have to do some post-commentary. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, it's just a little bit out of the norm for me. So I'm going to do my best to cover this game and some of my thoughts on this game, along with the primary purpose, which is to demonstrate a way to get through the game without too much difficulty, which in Dark Souls, with a high learning curve and very difficult as far as JRPGs go, or RPGs in general. Okay, so the plot is rather complex, and part of the design of the game is that you only have hints to it as you go, as opposed to having them dump the plot on you a whole lot. In fact, that cutscene we just saw, along with this one,
yes, indeed.
Are some of the only cutscenes you're going to see in the game for the most part, aside from, of course, the boss introductions.
And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north.
Racism. Even in the world of Lordran.
Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
To await the end of the world. We'll see about that. So yeah, I deliberately made my character look as ridiculous as I possibly could. And the facial expression on this guy was just too easy to pick. It was too hard to pass it up. So I went with that, and you gotta have blue hair, right? So this guy looks a little silly. Just a little. And even locked into an undead cell here, he's got that stupid looking grin on his face. And someone chucks a body down with us, not sure why, and seems to fall backwards there. No real relevance to the plot there whatsoever, I'm afraid. If you're interested in the lore of Dark Souls, I would recommend the series by Epic Name Bro. He's put a lot of effort into showing us all the both his theories and what facts can be gathered from the game's item descriptions and whatever. But that's not the point of this Let's Play. The point of this Let's Play is to abuse a game that's pretty difficult. So I'm not sure I can say it's a cheesing run 100%, but we're going to cheese it pretty hard. There will be deaths in this run. I don't know if the first one is in the first video or not, but there will be a decent handful of deaths, and I will show all of the deaths. I'm not done recording all of this as of this recording, but I'm pretty far in the game, so I have a rough idea how things will go. And I picked a Deprive, I guess, to add a little bit of challenge, and just to show that you can set up this abuse really with any class, because Deprive starts with basically nothing. I do die a few times because of that choice, I feel, because you don't have a lot of poise. Basically, armor lets you take damage without being stunned. And yeah, with the Deprive you start with literally nothing. So the stat that basically lets you take X number of hits from different types of weapons without being stunned is poise. Heavier armor has more poise, light armor tends to have nothing. I have nothing, which is pretty much the equivalent of nothing. Figure that. And kind of pointlessly run up and backstab this guy here just to show off that I could do it. But unfortunately, that means I'm going to have to back off and re-equip my weapon, as this is where the game intends for you to get your weapon. And the Northern Undead Asylum here is a bit of a tutorial area, so if you're new to the game, you're picking this up because you're interested after seeing my videos or someone else's videos, or you've just heard that this game is great, then you're going to want to read the tips on what buttons to push and whatever. It's those orange soapstone things on the floor. Anyway, get around behind an enemy and backstab. You'll see this in single player, you will see that in multiplayer. Lots of people fish for backstabs. Backstabs, backstabs, backstabs. I don't think it's an accident that BS is short form for backstab, because BS is short form for other things.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon. I wish to ask something of you. You and I are
No!
both undead.
Okay, fine.
Regrettably, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. Oh, an Estus flask. Oh. Now I would hate
So why
to
do all
harm
these
you
ancient
after
legends always seem to pervert the English language? And I'm pretty sure back then that they didn't speak exactly like that, so yeah, they're just kind of throwing some things in there for mystical purposes, I guess. Of course, you can't really blame From Software, the makers of this game, for that, but rather the translators. Because I'm sure some things are translated as intended and others are not. But this game tends to have its share of innuendos to it, as did its predecessor in Spirit, Demon Souls, and there I screw up a parry. Basically LT or L2 depending on your system, and you get that, but you have to time it just perfectly. Try to show off, and of course I get swatted by one of the most basic enemies in the game. Typical, but not as bad as some of the things I've done in previous Let's Plays, that's for sure. And I actually nailed this one properly, so could be off to a worse start here. Those parries are so satisfying. There are parry guides on YouTube as well. I'm not going to get into the specifics of parrying. Parrying is very much a skill thing and not really appropriate to a cheesing run. Anyway, plunge attack. You get a bonus item that's not very good for beating this guy early, like without getting your weapons first, but you do like 2 damage per hit to him, or 1 sometimes if you just hit him with your hilt or your fist, so it's a bit excessive. Anyway, first boss in the game, he can kill you, and he might if you're new to the game and new to the series, but basically stay behind him, swat at him. Yeah, club him in the butt. Or if you have a sword, then poke him there, whatever works. Anyway, after a couple hits following the plunging attack, he goes down. Oh, don't worry. It gets harder. And yeah, I don't have the expansion content, so you're going to see "You defeated" in the original bad translation. Ha ha. But yeah, as for innuendos, you get things like sticky white stuff in Demon Souls. There's a boss in this game called Ceaseless Discharge. Well, you get the idea. Now, is that really true to the original Japanese version? I'd believe that. Is that the translators having a field day with us? I'd believe that too. Either way.
Only in the ancient legends
I forgot
it is
about this
stated
cutscene.
that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords.
I don't buy it. You're about to see
Lord.
plenty of undead here. So, are we the chosen undead? Only if we succeed, because there's a bajillion other undead here. And how are they getting here? Did the crow carry them all over? All of them? Well, maybe. I mean, you know, it seems quite willing to carry people for fun. And it drops us off here. This is the main hub of the world. So, yeah, you can go all kinds of directions from here. There's 2 major ones available. Well, technically 3 major ones available from the start, but new Londo Ruins, there's really no reason for you to go there yet, and it's extremely difficult. And some of the other ways just don't make sense. But the first thing I'm going to do is a bit of a suicide run. A couple suicide runs to get good items right away, as opposed to trying to take on the early areas with just the starting equipment or whatever. So grab a large soul of undead, yeah. You know, these things just give us souls, allow us to take a few points in levels early, and or purchase some items that allow us to be more effective. So pretty easy there. Hey, got people signing online. Yes, this is pretty sheer evidence that I finally broke down and bought that capture card I'd been meaning to buy this whole time. Swayhander, you can use it, it's good. I probably butchered the pronunciation horribly. And... Oh, no! Yet another instance of where having no armor is horrible. I got that bleed buildup accumulated instantly on me. Basically, it's a status effect, but unlike most other status effects, bleed just rips off a large chunk of your health instantly. And those skeletons don't have that much bleed effect, but if you have no armor, yeah, 2 hits will bleed you. So I got stomped there, and that's death number 1. And I'm going to leave them in because I think too many people edit their deaths out. And this is a hard game, so I don't purport to be a pro, because I'm not. I'm decent, I can hold my own, I've killed a lot of people in the forest in multiplayer, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm some super god mode Gosu major super god mode skill guy, you know, that's not me. I can honestly say that I feel like I am solid at this game, and that's about as far as I'll go with it. I haven't really played enough PvP to get really devastating in that venue. I have soloed every boss without summoning anybody, including NPCs, but yeah, that's about it. Killed a lot of people in the forest. That's what I'm proud of. I forest hunt people with pyromancy, lol. Well, I have a painting guardian sword too, but we'll get into PvP stuff later, maybe. This is for cheesing the single-player aspect of the game, or I should say the story mode of the game, because this does not have to be single-player. You can summon up to 2 people to help you out with each area, which is really useful. So yeah, the first thing I did there was just run through the graveyard and grab a couple items. Really, the souls are what I needed. The other stuff can be very useful, actually. Either of those weapons. The winged spear can also be very good, but just not something I'm going to be using in this, because I don't want to put my stats that way. You need certain amounts of strength and dexterity to wield some of the weapons, so it can be problematic. And yeah, you're going to see me spaz out here, because I don't like waiting, I'm impatient. So, running around in circles like an idiot. So next stop is we're going to go into New Londo Ruins, even though I don't have a reason to go here. Storyline-wise. Then again, I guess they don't really tell you where you're supposed to go, so you could wander down here. My first time playing, I certainly did. Tried running into the ruins themselves and just died a bunch of times before I figured out, hey, maybe I'm not supposed to go this way.
And more importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well,
so this is your first blacksmith. I didn't even know he was here in my first playthrough, and the second blacksmith is the one I came upon first. But whatever, he sells some good stuff early in the game. And there's 2 things I want to get right away.
Oh no, don't worry.
First being the catalyst. It's just a basic catalyst. You can use it with 10 intelligence, and then Soul Arrow. So I'll have some ranged spell attacks right from go. If you're going to pick a deprived, hey, I mean, you have 11 in every stat. You might as well make use of it. And yes, the catalyst is 500 and the Soul Arrow is 2,000. I don't have the souls, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some items. Basically, the souls I picked up in the graveyard just then. That'll give me the ability to buy the catalyst. Don't know why I used the second one, but I used it, so that's that. This isn't that much souls. Early in the game, souls are much more precious than they are later in the game. And especially if you go into New Game Plus, you can. Actually, in this game, you can go up to New Game Plus 7 until it stops getting harder, and then you can still keep running New Game Plus after that. But yeah, at that point, it's challenging enough where even if you're max level, you'll still die if you screw up. Not that I'm speaking from experience, but based on the damage that I see it doing, I'm not going to say it's hard for somebody who gets all the way up to level 713 or 712 or whatever the heck it is, but you can probably still die pretty easily, considering that most stuff in this game is pretty lethal if you screw up. And of course, the falls can kill you anyway. And here's one of many dirt moments for me as I play through this game. I'm going to run over here looking for an item. I'm like, where the heck? I know there's an item here. Ooh, nice Xbox name. And so I can't find it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's right where I walked by, and if you were paying attention a moment ago, you could have seen that, but whatever. Off to the right as you cross this plank is Blight Town. Using the master key here is a shortcut to Blight Town. One of the Bells of Awakening is there. It's the one that you're intended to get second, and I will get it second. Going down there right now with no armor and a terrible weapon would be pretty amusing, but I would just die. Most likely I'd get poisoned by something and killed instantly. So, or maybe the big blubber guys on the way in would kill me, I don't know. It depends on how well I've handled them with parries. So I make a suicide run here. Store a straight sword and Dragon Quest shield. 2 good items, and Oko! Nice. Very nice. Ha ha ha. So yeah, that's what happens when you're running to areas you're not supposed to be. Now there is a red tearstone ring down there too, and I could have made another run for it, but I didn't feel like it. You know, this isn't a pro run, like I said. This is a cheesing run. So I check out the straight sword. I'm like, oh, I need 14 faith for it, but you know, it's good, but it's not amazing. And for how I'm going to be playing most of this game, I don't know that I want to go up past 12 faith. I want to get to 12 faith because that lets you use the healing spell. And you get 5 charges of that.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Thoroland. Have you business with us? If not,
And here's
I'd
where you get a
prefer
sense
to
of
keep a
humor from
distance,
this
if
game.
possible.
Yeah, I'm just going to be a jerk and not keep my distance from him. And apparently he has no
Hello
problem
there.
with
I
my conduct to
realize
this
that I
point.
have requested that we retain
And
our
no one seems to
distance.
care if you
But I
spaz
also
out,
want
although
you
some
to
of them
know
will comment
that it is not meant
if
in
you
ill
wander
will.
off while they're talking
Here,
to you. They're like, wait, where are
take
you
this
going? Or, you know, whatever.
As a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
Yes, me again.
Oh my.
I'm going to keep hounding you until you give me
again.
something.
Oh,
This is one of the few
I know.
conventions that are typical of
How about
JRPGs
this?
that
I have to
actually
await
holds
my
water even
companions
in Dark
here
Souls,
anyway.
which breaks most
So what
JRPG
if I were to
conventions.
teach you some miracles?
Well,
Would
I added the
that
blue hair
please you?
convention back, but typically you wouldn't do that.
Very well. Then
Yes.
first,
Yes, I
a
will join your
covenant
covenant
with the gods.
just to get stuff. Alright, so doing this lets you buy miracles from him. And miracles go off your faith stat, just like magic goes off of your intelligence
Now
stat.
let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined
As
by
implied
your
by
efforts
Mr. Petrus here.
and your faith.
So we're going to grab the Shrug Gesture from him and check out his stuff. Basically, you have a bunch of spell options. Heal's the one I'm mostly interested in. Some of the other ones are pretty good. Force is amazing for trolling. And then there's 2 kinds of talismans. The regular talisman is better if your faith is high, whereas the
Come
Thorolund
again.
talisman,
The effect.
it scales much worse, but it has a much better base magic adjustment. So, yeah, using that is better when you have low levels of faith, actually, and to pretty high levels of faith, like 20-some is when the other one takes over. So if you're going to go with a low-level miracle set, you might as well grab the Thorolund Talisman, but it's way too expensive for me right now, so I just drop down here and pick up some items, crack red eye orbs, maybe I can invade some people, some fools, troll some fools, lol. And yeah, here's another derp moment for me. These are going to be reasonably common in this. Although, I'm not total failure. I actually do progress a reasonable amount in this game. But yeah, I couldn't find my way out, and there we go. Finally managed to find my way out. Back into the graveyards, as this is the only way you can exit that area after falling through the elevator shaft. And I'm pretty much just going to run back to the bonfire and rest there. I have everything that I want before making my move into the first area now. I've grabbed the stuff from the Valley of Drakes, especially the shield, which has excellent fire resistance. So I'll see you guys next time. Me and team, for the first time in a long time, signing off.